The art of pollination. What are pollinators? Pollinators are animals that help plants make new plants by moving pollen from flower to flower. They include bees, butterflies, birds, bats, and some beetles. These amazing creatures visit flowers to drink sweet nectar, and while they're there, they help plants grow. Bees are super pollinators. Bees pollinate about 1/3 of all the food we eat in the world. A single bee will visit about 1,500 flowers in a day. In their short lifespan of 42 days, they will visit 63,000 flowers. They have special fuzzy bodies that collect pollen easily. They then carry the pollen from plant to plant, helping our fruit, vegetables, and flowers grow. Without bees, many of our favorite foods wouldn't exist. What happens without pollinators? If we don't protect our pollinators, many plants would disappear. We would have less food to eat. Farmers would have smaller harvests. Some animals wouldn't have enough food. Our world would have fewer beautiful flowers. This is why it's so important to take care of our pollinator friends. The Good of the Hive project was started by New York artist Matt Wiley. He's helping save bees through art. Matt Wiley paints beautiful murals of bees around the world. His goal is to paint 50,000 bees. That's the size of a real beehive. He teaches people about why bees are important and helps people understand how to protect bees. You can help too by planting flowers that bees like, and never using bug spray near flowers, and telling other people about why pollinators matter. Inkwell is an art studio in San Francisco. It was founded by artist Jane Kim, and it creates beautiful nature-themed murals. They are famous for painting giant, detailed murals of monarch butterflies on buildings to help teach people about these special insects and their importance to our environment. Monarch butterflies make an incredible journey each year, flying up to 3,000 miles from Canada and the United States to Mexico. The Inkwell murals show this amazing migration story through colorful, giant paintings on walls. These murals help people understand how special these butterflies are and why we need to protect them. Monarch butterfly numbers have gone down by about 80% in recent years. They are losing their habitat where milkweed plants grow. Climate change affects their migration patterns. The murals help teach people why we should save these beautiful insects. How can we help pollinators? Plant a pollinator garden. Avoid using chemicals in our yards. Leave out shallow water dishes for bees. Build bee houses. Learn more about pollinators. And remember, even small actions can make a big difference in helping our pollinator friends. Kids can make art about pollinators too. Let's go to the drawing board. For this art piece, you need your watercolor pan. You need a piece of Xerox paper just for practicing. You need some watercolor paper, a medium and small paintbrush, a pencil, a black oil pastel stick, and a cup of water. We're going to be starting with our sheet of scratch paper, and we're going to just take a moment to look at some of the butterflies of the world. So you can just see how many different kinds of styles there are. So I want you just to take a moment and look and decide if there's a style of butterfly that maybe you would like to work with. You're going to notice that some of them have very big triangle shapes for their wings. Some of them have little parts that stick out for their wings. Some have two wing structures. You could see the top wing and the bottom wing structure very easily in that one. So what I want you to do is go ahead, you're going to just look at this sheet, and I want you to choose one or two butterflies that inspire you. And you can either look at these or you could invent your own, but I want you just to practice a couple of butterflies first on your own before you go to your big sheet of paper. I think I'm going to practice the monarch butterfly since we learned about that one. And then I want to do another style, so I think I might do the blue morpho one as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my paper in either direction. Now the thing about this is we only have to draw half of our butterfly. And I'm actually going to fill it up with my whole page when I practice. So since I'm doing the monarch first, I am going to start with a head shape. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in my body. And I'm not going to draw the other side of my body. I actually didn't even need to draw the other side of my head. You're going to see why in a little bit. Now this one arches up and over and goes clear out, and we actually want to fill our whole paper. We do. And it kind of makes a triangle shape. So I've got another mark here that's about halfway. And so I arch up, I curve in, I drop down a little ways, and I arch over. So that is one style of butterfly wing. And now from here, this butterfly actually drops down below the body and arches in. And if I wanted to, I could also play with some of the designs that are within a butterfly that I'm looking at. So I'm going to play with just a few of the designs. Now you're probably wondering why I'm only drawing half of my butterfly. So I want to do a little bit of a demonstration of what we're going to be doing so you know. So this is just a practice one, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But, so what we do is we're going to just trace over our lines in our oil pastel. And I've got to press a little bit hard because I need for them to be able to copy. So I am going to press a little bit hard. I need to have dark lines. They can't be soft like that. They have to actually be thick and dark. And I want to do my butterfly plus any kind of patterns I put in. So I might have the pattern that I looked at, or maybe I invent my pattern, or maybe I do both. So maybe I do this one, but then I add in repetition. I change mine a little bit. Or maybe I add in some extra lines. Now, once I have it drawn, then I'm going to go ahead and do a fold. And I have to rub and rub and rub. And what's going to happen when I open it up, I'm going to be able to see my butterfly on the other side. And if I can't quite see it yet, then I refold and I go and I rub a little bit more. Now what's really cool about this is what's really hard about butterflies is getting a butterfly that can match. But you're going to see now that my butterfly matches perfectly. And I just go and trace my other lines. So you can see that this gives me a lot of control. So I have a butterfly now that's symmetrical. So it's the same on both sides. So that is going to be how we play with this time. Okay. Now, once you finish drawing one butterfly, you can go ahead and flip it over and try practicing another butterfly. And you're going to keep practicing until you have a butterfly that you like. Now, once you have a butterfly that you like, you're then going to go ahead and get your watercolor paper. Now, the first thing you want to do with your watercolor paper is fold it in half. Now, I want to fold it in half so I'm making the hamburger, not the hot dog. I don't want it to be long and skinny. I want it to be a little bit short and squatty. So I'm going to take and fold my paper in half and then open it back up. Now I know exactly where my center line is, and I can go ahead and start to draw. Now, once again, I could look at my butterflies of the world as I go to draw. I could look at my practice sheet, or I could just invent whatever I want. Now, as we go to draw, though, one thing you want to think about it is we want to make our butterflies big. We're not making tiny butterflies right now. We're making really big butterflies. So whatever style of butterfly you decide is totally fine, but you want to make it so it goes all the way out into your edges. So, and remember, we only have to draw half of our butterfly. So go ahead and get your butterfly drawn. And remember, you can use little marks to help you. So I know that I want my butterfly to go clear out to this edge. So I'm actually going to take and make a mark. And I know that I want it to make kind of a triangle shape. So I can go and take and make that mark. So then when I go to make my parts of my butterfly, it is easy for me to see where I am going. Now, once you have your butterfly drawn, you're going to trace it in your black oil pastel. It's best to start at the bottom and work your way down so you don't smear it with your hand. And once you have it drawn, you're going to fold it in half and rub, 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 rub. And mine is just dark enough for me to be able to go and trace. I just need to be able to see it a little bit. And if it's easier for you to turn your paper to make it easier for you to trace, you can. I do try to not take my hand over it so I don't smear my lines. And so now I have my traced butterfly. So when we do that pressing over procedure, it's actually a kind of print making where we're making a print of something we have used before. Now your next step is going to be to take your watercolor pan, and you can paint your butterfly any way that you want. And you're not going to do your background yet. You're going to paint your butterfly, and then once it's painted, you're going to let it dry completely. After it dries completely, then you can draw in your background and paint your background however you want as well. I'm noticing that mine is really popping up a lot from my fold. So if I want, I can do a little bit of a bend to make it lay flat again. So now I'm ready to paint. So one trick I do like to do with painting is I like to start with my light colors first. So if I really want to use yellow as a color, I start with yellow so that I make sure my water's really clean as I work with it, because yellow gets so dirty. And then I like to go to orange and then red. So I start and I go in this direction first, and then I go into my cool colors, my darker colors if I want to. And you can paint your butterfly any way you want. Have fun. Now, once you have your butterfly painted, then you need to let it completely dry. And while it's drying, you could go clean out your water. Just let it totally dry. That's really important. And so we're going to just let it sit and be. So I'm dry now, so if I want to add any kind of decorations into my back, I can add decorations to my back. Maybe I want to add a whole scene back there, or maybe I just want to break it up into some different kinds of sections. You can do anything you want in your background. Now, one thing I want you to think about as you go to paint your background is you want to have something that's contrasting. So you'll notice I did my entire butterfly in warm colors. So I used yellow, orange, red. Those are like the colors of the sun and fire. And I'm actually going to use my cool colors in the background. And my cool colors are like green, blue, and purple. And the reason I'm doing it is I want there to be a lot of contrast. I want my butterfly to really stand out. Now you might want to have your butterfly camouflage, so hidden. So if you want yours camouflage, you could do that as well. One thing you'll notice when I painted my butterfly, I actually really painted on top of my black lines so that I could not have a lot of white showing through. So if you have a lot of white showing through where you have your black lines, you might want to go in and add a little bit more paint before you go into your background. But I am ready for a background now. So I'm going to go ahead and let this completely dry, and when it's dry, if I want to add eyes or anything else in it, I can as well. I hope you enjoyed learning how to paint butterflies today. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.